Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Dungeons and Dopamine. Ta-da!
Hi, and welcome to episode 66 of Dungeons and Dopamine. I'm Bree.
I'm Jess.
And this is episode 60. Damn it.
We're just on a constant loop. We don't know what we're doing. Please help us.
Somebody save us.
Okay,
We have a treat for you today, people. Uh-oh. What thought is Jessica having?
Okay, but you said somebody save us, and there's this song that opens the show Smallville, and it goes, "Somebody save me," and then it has more words. But that is.
Can you do that again, please?
Like the arm, the sing,
all of it,
the face.
all of it. It was beautiful.
Everybody really missed out.
We're gonna have to just cut that and put it in Patreon. And let everybody know what they're missing.
We need to start recording ourselves, like physically.
Yeah. Visually. Now that we have an office.
Right?
A dopa office.
Dopa office. This office is dope.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, Brie was saying something cool and I was dumb, and she's going to tell you now.
We have a treat for you guys today.
It's going to be so good.
Brie had an election this week, so there was not much time for anything other than staying alive. So we have a fun Translate episode for you guys.
Woo!
It's been a little while since Do you remember what number our last Google Translate episode is?
I know we Google translated episode 1, but I don't remember when. Was it for our year?
Oh, maybe.
I don't remember. No, I think we did more of like a conversation about the podcast for the year.
But it was right around the year mark,
yeah.
I think. So, 12 weeks ago?
Yeah.
At least.
We were in the bathroom. That's what I remember the most. We cried in the bathroom.
So, another Google Translate episode. It's going to be amazing. We've only read the first 4 lines and can barely get through those, so.
Argyle Pigeons chose episode 19, Better Than Veiny Horses, which, if you'll remember, was the Denver airport.
I don't even remember what I talked about because it didn't matter compared to the Denver airport.
I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry for that. So, should we just dive in?
Yeah.
So, if you remember from last time, we're going to play you a few seconds, a minute snippet of the original episode, and then we are going to tell you what Google translated that as. Oh, and Google Translate, I guess I should tell you that, we actually stole this from Brandon Farris. We love you, Brandon Farris. You are literally the best.
Please tell him we're stealing stuff from him, so maybe he'll notice us.
And also that he shouldn't sue us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely add that part.
I don't know if he stole this idea from anybody. Hopefully he did, so that he can't sue us. But anyways, we actually do love Brandon Farris, and his cooking videos of Google Translate are legitimately some of his funniest content. I've laughed until I've cried and hurt in my stomach from laughing so hard. So we decided to do something similar. We take the transcript from our show, and Ryan, Argyle Pigeon, runs that through Google Translate to a different language, back to English, to a different language, back to English, until it is a jumble of insanity. With all that being said, I am going to start episode 19, Better Than Veiny Horses.
Hi, Future Jess here. I wanted to announce that our Patreon is up and live. We appreciate you all so much for the support that you've shown us. If you choose to also support us through Patreon, we can guarantee that everything we receive will go back toward the show. You can find us by going to patreon.com/Dungeons Dopamine, or you can find the link on any of our social medias. Thank you so much. We love you. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Dungeons and Dopamine.
Alright, so I know it doesn't seem like there should be anything funny happening yet, but you're wrong. So, it did start pretty well. Like it was on point for a second. It says, "Hey, future Jess," and talking to me. I wanted to let you know that our Patreon is alive. Thank you for all your support if you decide to support us. Not if you don't. No.
Only if you just decide to support us.
As a Patreon, we can ensure that everything we receive goes to benefit the show. You can find it at patreon.com Dopamine Dungeons. Or find a link in one of our social networks. Thank you. We love you. We love you. You, prison, and
Thank you. We love you. You, prison. And cut to music.
So, now they know about our love for prison.
We've been hiding it so well up until this point.
Google Translate, you rat. All right, here we go. Let's keep on. This is better than prison.
Hi, this is Dungeons and Dopamine. I'm Jess.
And I'm Brie.
And we already did this intro.
And it was beautiful.
And horrible.
Because we laughed the whole time, so it's not usable.
If you do our $7 or above level in Patreon, you can hear it.
Because hopefully by the end of today, we will have our Patreon open.
It'd be amazing.
Because Spotify is changing how they allow people to make money.
Which, as we grow, will be so great, but currently is not great.
Correct.
And we don't like anti-greatness.
Exactly.
Okay, so also just to let you know, this is the first time Brie and I are reading through this script because truly we've both been absurdly busy. It's kind of a miracle we can be here right now recording. So if you hear us laughing uncontrollably in the background, it's because this is so stupid. I did have to cut out a ton of laughter on the last one, now that I remember. I had, for time and for, no one wanted to sit there and listen to us laugh and try to breathe for 45 minutes. Oh, and we sniffled so much.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
'Cause once we get laughing.
Just gonna go line by line. I'll read the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Dopamine, thank you. This is Dungeon and Dopamine.
I'm Jess. I'm Brie. This introduction is from us. It's great, beautiful, and scary because we always laugh. So it's okay if you get up to $7 or more on Patreon.
I hear this because we hope to have our support site completed by the end of the day. It's great because Spotify is changing the way people make money.
And when we sin, it is wonderful. But now it is not wonderful. It is the truth. And I don't care about anti-R. It's almost a hold.
I don't think this next line is I think we have to keep going for the rest. But, okay, here we go. This is just a nightmare.
I almost kept it straight through that whole period.
Boycotting by having a Patreon. I don't know, we're not even boycotting.
We love you, Spotify. We love you.
Let's do another ad. All the ads.
Best Spotify ever. Mm-hmm. All the Spotify all the
for
time.
podcasters.
Look.
Absolutely.
I don't know when I became a slogany, catchphrasey type of person, but I am now. And it's look and absolutely.
You probably always have been. If we look back through, we could do a whole episode where we just look back through our old notebooks. Probably have to be like a Patreon.
I think it should be a video. A video for a
It's just
Patreon
us
level.
crying, laughing. I feel like we had a lot of catchphrases back then.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now I feel like we have to do this. Like, we're I haven't changed my page.
We could do a whole episode of just inside jokes.
People will
Jessica
love that.
and Brienne used to think were funny.
Sorry.
Cardi B out. Yeah.
I apparently, in high school at some point, signed a scrap of paper and ripped.
Okay. So we're just getting so far. I needed
Right.
to stop this.
I can see why this was hard to translate. We were in rare
Stop
form that
talking. And just go.
time. Despite all the crap on Weir's Patreon, this is no baby. We love you, Spotify. We love you. Do one more.
This is very filthy. Trigger warning. After all, advertising is the best. Spotify. Everything Spotify. Every time. Search, podcasters.
I am not sure when I was single. Slogans, keywords, examples. But
Now I see it like this, and you might have looked like this if we look at this.
Before we did a whole section when we were just leafing through old notebooks. Maybe something like that.
Patreon. I think it should be a loud Patreon level video.
I laughed, but it seemed to me that there were many buzzwords. We, yes, I.
Of course. I now believe that we should do it as we have done. I have not changed my position.
Paige, we can make a whole section on it.
It was funny, and Brienne sadly found us funny. Harvey AI, and I seemed happy. Alright, they know that we're kind of blending into the next sentence, but I'll just play a little more.
Ripped it off and I handed it to Ryan and said, "Keep this, I'll be famous someday." He kept it.
Aww.
He might
I love
still
him.
have it somewhere.
He does. I'm sure of it. He looks at it every day.
Keeps in his wallet like Luke kept Lorelai's thing of predicting the future. Horoscope.
Forgot about that. I should rewatch that show.
You should. Oh, we could do a Patreon level of that.
Just a bunch of live streams of us watching things we like.
Stuff. And reading through our old notebooks.
Gilmore Girls and Lord of the Rings. And did I tell you my dad gave me a book called Lord of the Rings?
I think you did.
Like a
Parody?
1970s parody of Lord of the Rings.
Alright. Okay, this shouldn't be too bad. This one wasn't terrible. The school wrote somewhere under a piece of paper, tore it open, and I said,
Gave it to Ryan and said, "One day I will be famous." He kept it.
it was probably still stored somewhere. He was sure of that. He checked it every day.
Keep it in your wallet, as Luke kept Laura, and thus divine the future.
Forgot horoscope. I need to watch this episode again. You should do it on Patreon.
It's just a series of shows that see what we like.
They are defining the future. We read the old books, The Daughter of Gil Mar and The Lord of the Rings. And I told you that my father gave me a book with that title.
The Council of the Rings. I thought you might be interested in the Lord of the Rings parodies from the 1970s.
Dude, that was actually
Yeah.
pretty decent. Like, not too bad. All right, here we go. I don't have anything else to say.
Just gonna bring it and start reading that on
Perfect.
podcasts.
On the podcast.
We are changing how podcasts are done and making them podcasts.
Podcast. It sounds peppier.
It does.
Podcast.
Pop.
I like that it has a lot of
I understand.
I knew you would.
Very stable, loud.
It's satisfying when it
Confident
comes out of
letters.
my mouth. Podcast.
I have to say this now because I feel like maybe you'll understand. I really like my name because it has double letters in it. It has two N's.
Yep.
And I feel like that stabilizes it. So when we had Connor Zach actually picked his name, or suggested his name, but I definitely went with it because it has the double N's.
Absolutely.
And
I didn't do that on purpose.
Sad to give up my maiden name because I had the two B's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this might get a little rough. Oh no, what is happening? Stop. I don't want you there, Google. Okay. That wasn't what this says. That's just what I'm
That would
saying.
be really weird to translate.
Simply download and start reading in the last podcast pop-up.
We're changing the way podcasts are made and making podcasts that sound better. Podcasts than this.
There are many bees. I know you will go.
Very stable. Good sound. Comes out of my mouth well.
Very stable. Good job. Podcast. I have to say this now because I think you might understand.
I really like my name because it consists of two letters. 2 N's and me.
Two N's and me. Sounds like a terrible, TV show.
Right?
I thought that would confirm the situation, so Zach was perfect when we chose Connor.
His name, or to think of his name, but I agree because it has 2 endings.
Really? And I didn't find it sad to publish my mother's name. All right. Onward.
You're not double anymore.
I was
You
very
guys could
stable
add a
back then.
letter to Fagin.
I feel like it would change the pronunciation of it.
Fagin.
For some reason I thought you were going to go with the G.
Or Fagin.
Fagin.
That sounds actually a little more Irish.
True. Maybe that's what it was originally.
Yeah. Ryan's last name was, my last name was originally Vavzhinyak.
Wow.
And so when he's describing it to someone, he somehow thinks it makes more sense to say, oh no, it makes more sense in Polish, Vavzhinyak.
Sure. Maybe if we were in Poland, or talking to people that understood Polish.
Or understood spelling our name even. Like, most people, if you spell our last name for whatever reason you needed to spell our last name for, they've lost it as soon as they were done.
Oh, yeah.
So they don't care that it makes sense that it's Vavzhinyak.
Okay.
Um,
I'm already starting with the gross sniffling and
Yep.
crying.
For I have 2. Yes, you are no longer 2, but you.
Guys, can you add a letter for Fagin? I think it will change his pronunciation.
Fagin. For some reason, I think you're voting G or blank Fagin F.
Fagin. That sounds more Irish, even if it may seem that way at first. Yes. My last name is Ryan.
They were originally V. Zenick. Wow, in what he describes.
Anyone who thinks about it will say, oh no, that doesn't make sense.
In Polish Vin, of course. Maybe if we are in.
Speak or communicate with people who speak or write Polish.
Most people love our name when they write our last name for some reason.
I have that problem all the time. Write our last name, because by the time they write it, it's already gone. So they don't care what it is. Okay.
It means that the person who loves you is me.
I knew it! This wasn't a Google Translate. This was a method for truth. Okay, the next line is absolutely... But I gotta keep this going, or else it It's not. Anyway, okay, let's go.
I love your husband.
I'm dealing.
I'm indifferent some days, but
No, I like him. I'm keeping him around. He
You
can
better.
stay. Yeah, right. He does our tech stuff.
So you're stuck with him now.
You told him he has no permission to die.
Zach and Connor both, for some reason, every time I clear my throat, which is not that infrequently because I have allergies and things, both of them will just stop and be like, what? I was just clear. I wasn't trying to get your attention or comment on what you were doing. I just had to clear my throat.
Have you ever seen those TikToks where a wife will use her husband's full name?
This is getting good. Man, sometimes I behave differently than you.
No, he likes it. I stay with him. Yes, he wears technical things. So.
Now that she's stuck with him, he tells her he can't let Zach and Connor die.
For some reason, I always jump. It's not rare.
Because I am sick of everything and will end up with both.
I'm not trying to get attention or talk about what we're doing. I just want to get it out there, okay?
I just want to get it out there. I saw a woman using her husband's full name on TikTok. Okay.
I don't know where Connor and Zach dying came from.
Love it. It's such a dramatic reading of our podcast. I just want to get it out there, okay? Onward.
Like if his name is Richard and they call him Rich. She'll say, Richard, did you take the garbage out? Or she'll say like, hey Richard. And these men are like, what, why did you say that like that?
Exactly.
Ryan.
Actually, I get confused when Zach uses my name because typically it's some version of some sort of pet name, like honey, sweetie, baby, wifey, something. So when he calls me Brienne,
You're like, suspicious.
what's wrong?
I guess I kind of feel that way if Ryan uses Jessica, not Jess. But typically he and I use our full names to get each other's attention. Because there's a lot of needing to get attention in this house.
Weird.
Okay.
His name is Richard, and they call him Rich. He says, Richard, you did it.
You did it. Clean up the mess, or he'll say, hey, Richard, what about those people?
How? Why do you do this?
That, Zach, is what I understand best about Ryan.
I'm embarrassed when Zach uses my name, because he usually does.
Oh, that's very embarrassing. A pet name, like... A pet name, like baby, baby, baby. Baby, 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 wife, anything when he calls me.
Brienne, you know what's going on. I think I did too.
Ran calls herself Jessica, not Jess, but she and I often use both names to address each other.
Attention of others, because in this house it is necessary to attract attention.
We had my first sport.
Baby, baby. Anything.
I've come to the conclusion that I know nothing. I was trying to think of a topic.
Nothing, just words. Doesn't fit.
No, too long. So, I was trying to think of a topic that I could talk about that I didn't need to research. And nothing. I have nothing. My brain is empty.
I actually do not know anything about anything. That's how I feel anytime I'm put on the spot.
Oh, sure. What's your favorite movie?
I don't like movies.
What are movies? I've never seen a movie.
Hate them. Will not watch them.
Do you like Lord of the Rings? Oh my gosh, that's probably my favorite movie.
What's your favorite song? I don't know. Never heard
I've
the song.
never listened to music. I don't even own a radio.
This one gets even better. Weird. I've come to the conclusion that I don't know anything. I'm trying to think of something.
Otherwise, the fight is not good. It should not last too long.
So I tried to think of an answer, but I couldn't.
No research, nothing. My head is empty.
I am not sure about anything. I always feel so...
I'll leave it at that. What is your favorite film? Which film do I like? Which film do I not watch? Which film do I hate?
They don't watch. Do you like Lord of the Rings? Oh my god, that's probably my favorite movie. What's your favorite song? I don't.
You know, I've never heard music. I've never heard music.
Actually directs you to laugh. I like that one sentence has absolutely no punctuation at
Right.
all. And we move along.
Actually, now your go-to answer should be da 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 Dungeons and Dopamine.
Are the most important.
Of course, yeah. So, I guess I know nothing, and now that we've established that, I shall share some dopamine. Did you know there are a lot of apparently haunted places in just the United States alone? For example, the Hollywood sign.
Which is crazy to me.
Yep. The Chicago Lincoln Park Zoo
Really?
is haunted. And things like train stations and hotels.
Okay. I mean, so locally we have a lighthouse
Yes.
that may or may not be
Yep.
haunted.
That would make sense to me. Old places make sense to me.
And
So,
train stations tend to be old.
yeah. And a lot of like physical labor go into train station building and maintenance and stuff. So,
Okay. On the radio. Sure. Now it's your answer. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Dungeon. And...
Dopamine. The last part is the most important. Yes. So I don't know.
Now that everything is ready, I will post some.
Dopamine. Did you know there are many dating sites here?
For example... This is my favorite dating site. For example, the Hollywood sign is only found in the USA.
This is crazy to me. Yes. It is the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago.
Liquor. And things like train stations and hotels. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
We have a lighthouse on site that is either dimmed or not, as it should be.
Old places are important to me. Train stations are often old. Yes.
And the construction and maintenance of the stations required a lot of manual labor.
This is the worst show ever.
How did it go from haunted to dating sites?
And then liquor.
There are a lot of dating sites.
My favorite is the Hollywood sign because it's only available in the USA. All right, onward.
kind of makes sense. So, I was obviously researching this because I know nothing, and I learned these things. I learned about an airport that may or may not be haunted, but is more so the main character in some conspiracy theories.
Okay.
And that was good enough for me.
Okay.
So the Colorado Denver Airport.
Now, when you first said airport, I was expecting older or like a not often used like airfield? No.
Okay. This is actually pretty spot on, except not.
Right?
And everything. It was necessary. So I researched it myself.
I know something, and I will learn these things.
I also learned about,
The airport may or may not exist.
especially the main character in a project.
Theory, good. And that's enough for me. Airplane, good. And Colorado.
Denver Airport is now my first post.
The airport I'm hoping for is old or something like that, so it's not used that often.
I did kind of stop it in the middle of the next sentence, but we will continue on.
Denver. I think I
Denver Airport. Oh, yeah? So you might have seen some of what I'm about to talk about. So, I want to tell you some facts. Some fun facts about the Denver Airport. They started building it in 1989.
So again, not that old.
No, it's younger than us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of weird to people because Denver already had a functioning airport. Some people say that it was just shrinking, so to speak, and it was just too small for what they needed. But it was just still really weird. They also chose to build this airport way off in the middle of nowhere in Denver, Colorado. So that was really suspicious.
Yeah.
When they were building it, it went $2 billion over budget.
I don't even know where to stop at this time because it goes rogue.
No airport, Denver. I think I'm Denver Airport. Oh, you see.
Some of the things I will talk about.
I want to tell you some things about Denver.
The airport was opened in 1989. No, it is not that old.
Younger than us. It's different for everyone because it's Denver.
It's a busy airport. Some say it's an understatement, and that is all.
It's too small for their needs, but still different, just like that.
It was decided to build this airport in the middle of Denver, Colorado. So it is a big question.
Yes, when it was made, it cost $2.
Billions more than 2 billion more money. Okay, and on we go.
2 billion?
Billion. Yes.
That.
Yep. 2 billion. And went 1 year over schedule. I think it was 16 months entirely. Like total over. It did open in 1995. It is the third busiest airport in the United States. It is the second largest airport in the world, only behind, I'm not going to be able to think of it. I don't have it in my notes. But it's 53 square miles sized. It's 53 square miles large. It big.
Yeah,
She
big.
All right. She big. That wasn't even a part of our translation.
Yes, more than expected 2 billion and a year.
How do you translate a year into money? I think it's been 16 months, more than when it was open.
In 1995, it was the third busiest airport in the United States and the second busiest airport.
It's a lot of words to say it was the second busiest. The largest airport in the world is another.
Oh, I can't imagine. I don't have it in my notebook. But it's 53 square kilometers. About 53.
Square. Miles. Big. Big. Every. I added a period in there when it wasn't actually supposed to be, but it gave it better. All right. Is that where we left off?
I think so.
All right. Here we go. This is chaos.
So it's like bigger than LA? Or
Yeah.
really?
Bigger than New York, bigger than LA, bigger than
Maybe
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm sure I have not been there then. Or it was only like a short layover.
Yeah, like a quick get to your. It's so big that you have to travel a lot through like the train cars and stuff. Really weird.
It's crazy.
So, while it was being built, different contractors were hired for different areas of the airport. They've all been fired when their job was done. This makes people wonder if there's a strategy that they don't want everyone to know the full scope.
Feels like they're keeping secrets.
Secrets, yes.
Bigger than Los Angeles, or really?
Much more than New York. More than LA, most likely. I know.
I wasn't there at the time, or it was only a short distance. Yes, it was a quick way to get to you. That was too much.
You know, Brie, I meant to tell you that was a little much. Many of you have to travel a lot. For example, by train and so on. It's really weird and crazy, so...
Construction work is underway, and contractors have been hired for various areas.
The airport. They were thrown out when they finished their work, and all were oppressed.
I wonder if there is a policy that people are not supposed to know about.
They seem to be hiding a secret. Yes, 110 million. Secrets?
It's a lot of secrets.
So many.
110 million cubic yards of earth were moved to create, like, the area for this airport.
Okay.
Now, I will say there are underground tunnels in this airport, which we are going to go over, but that's really still more dirt than should have been moved for the scale of a project, according to the internet, which is totally
I guess
the truest.
I'm not an expert on how much dirt should be moved to build an airport.
I am, but I didn't do the math on this.
Just didn't have the time.
Yeah, I'm very busy doing podcasting stuff.
Okay, so there were 110 million secrets, but also...
Cubic meters of land were released.
create a similar space for this airport.
Okay, now I say there is a tunnel under this airport.
I can't say it. We will see it soon, but it is impure.
Online had to be postponed due to the size of the MH project.
This is a complete TR. Not an expert on the question of how much land needs to be mined for building.
I am an airport person, but I cannot do math. I just don't have it.
That's right. I'm very interested in podcasts.
The MH project sounds so sinister.
I'll talk about it if I ever get interested in podcasting.
I cannot do math.
I am an airport person, but I cannot do math. All right, and on we go.
5,300 miles of fiber optics were installed for this, but the USA from coast to coast is 3,000 miles. Seems like a lot of fiber optics. It can almost go like back and forth, right, from coast to coast. There is a fueling system that seems totally normal.
Right.
It can pump 1,000 gallons of jet fuel per minute, which is completely absurd even for an airport of this scale and size.
Because why would that be necessary?
Right. What would you... That's all I got.
How are you going to fill the airplanes?
That's too fast.
Just trying to imagine the poor airport terminal guy is trying to... It's like an air hose for the tires at the racetracks. He's gonna be like...
This is gonna get wild. All right.
5.3 billion fiber optic cables installed.
The United States from coast to coast is 3,000.
There are many eyelash strands that move back almost to the right.
Coast to coast has a fuel supply system that looks ordinary, but it can pump.
1,000 liters of kerosene per minute, which is very ineffective, even for...
An airport of this size and dimension? Why is it necessary, right?
You like what you do. Yeah, I'm just how do you fill it?
The plane was too fast. I try to imagine the poor thing.
People at the port try to act as an air tube for a tire.
But it can pump.
There are many eyelash strands that move back.
You need tissue. We gotta have tissue in the office. There's no
Right.
tissue here. Alright, onward.
It's cool.
Done. Get out. Go and get.
They're just living so far in the future, we don't even
It's
understand.
incredible. They imported granite from all over the world to build this, even though it was already grossly over budget.
And why? Why would
Right.
you want granite? And granite doesn't hold up well.
No.
It requires a lot of maintenance and stains and
Yeah.
can get worn
And you have
away.
to treat it, and yeah. So here we come back to the tunnel system. They constructed this huge tunnel system, and they're large enough that you can drive vehicles through them. And there is a luggage system that was millions of dollars and barely got used. That
Okay. The way is ready. Go out and get it.
I feel like that should be our new tag.
New
The
slogan,
way is ready. Go out and get it.
Get it.
They are simply living in a future we do not know. It is amazing that they brought sand from us.
To build around the world. Although, it is almost finished.
Budget and why you need sand. But sand transportation is not good. You need to protect and.
Stains. And maybe we tear. You deal with them. And yes. And we are back.
Tunnel system. They built this huge tunnel system.
I mean, that's pretty accurate of how I said it. And it is large enough to allow the passage of vehicles and to have a luggage system.
They have millions of dollars and therefore cannot do without what they say.
It sounds biblical. Okay, here we go.
that they claim is the reason for the tunnels, for luggage and stuff being transported. And a lot of these aren't used right now, according to the internet. I guess I'm gonna say that a lot because
Right.
according to the internet,
Right. We have not officially been there to check all this
Exactly.
out. When we get big, we will go on site to test all these theories.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, I would love that. There's some stuff I really want to see at this airport. So, starting outside of the airport, we're gonna move our way through the airport.
All right.
When you pull up to, it's a particular parking lot, a particular road. There is a 32-foot tall blue Mustang statue. Horse Mustang, not car Mustang.
Transportation options for luggage and goods, and most of them are not.
Is now in use according to the internet. I think you have a lot of comments like this because it says,
Online, we didn't officially go there to try all these things. We will be famous and we will go there to try them all.
these concepts, oh God, I like them because I really want to see them here.
The airport. So we start outside the airport and walk around the airport as you.
Drive to a parking lot on a highway.
a 32-ton blue Mustang statue. A Mustang horse. I love old Bluey. No, I don't. He's a murder horse.
He's terrifying.
Makes more sense, but still.
He's bucking, like he's standing and bucking, and he has glowing red eyes.
What?
He's also anatomically correct, and he's, being a Mustang, he's very veiny all over his body, his anatomically correct body.
Okay, if you're gonna make a horse statue and it's okay, anatomically correct, but do you have to put all the details in?
Apparently, yes. The horse, he has a real name and I can't remember. I think it's literally just like Blue Mustang or something.
The Mustang is not only more sensible, but...
He moved as if he was standing and talking. His eyes were bright red.
it's still anatomically correct, and it's a Mustang.
There are many muscles throughout the body.
Anatomically, it is normal to make a horse statue. And, well, anatomically, it is right, you know.
But it is necessary to state all that information clearly, yes.
For the horse, my real name, I can't remember. I think it's Blue Petal or something.
Oh my gosh. I'm so intrigued to hear the next actual thing that we've said, because this translation is kind of weird. Here we go.
Locals have nicknamed him Blucifer.
Fair enough. Very clever.
I had to read that several times without bursting out laughing to tell you the rest of the information about Blucifer.
Blucifer. Oh, it's great.
He is made of fiberglass.
What?
Yep. And he murdered the artist. His head broke apart, and he severed an artery in the artist's leg, and he bled to death. His children finished the statue.
Is that why he has glowing red eyes?
So, his...
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm not laughing because someone died, by the way. I'm laughing at this horrible translation. Something, the native has a nickname for him.
Blucifer is really cool, really smart, and I am.
Blucifer wrote this. Read a few moments without laughing and tell the rest of the story about Blucifer.
Blucifer? Well, that's what he was made of.
Yes, he will kill him.
He broke the artist's head and severed a tendon in his leg.
And he bled and died, and his children completed the statue so that his red eyes shone brightly. I'm so sorry about laughing about a death, but oh my god.
It's like it concentrated on that part and made it so dramatic.
Blucifer wrote this.
So that his red eyes shone brightly.
Okay, I know I kind of stopped in the middle of a sentence, but I just couldn't hold it any longer.
His glowing red eyes are apparently a dedication, I guess you'd say, to the artist's father, who used to work with neon lights. But
There are other
colors, so many colors. Blue
Yeah.
would have looked great with the blue horse statue.
Blucifer should have had blue glowing eyes.
Anything
Purple,
really.
green.
Purple, yeah, green, white. I don't know, that might have been
No,
creepier. It looked like a White Walker.
Black, and then like no.
So he's a rough guy. He is said to represent one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which is death.
All right, well, I know, sort of in the middle, but the translation doesn't always translate into sentence form very well.
So their bright red eyes are very similar.
Well, I think you told the father of the artist who worked on it.
Neon light. But other colors are also possible.
The mini blue flowers look fantastic on the Blucifer blue horse statue.
And bright blue eyes. Very purple. Yes.
Blue and white. I don't know. It looks scarier than a white walk, and...
Like, no. So he's a villain. They're talking about him.
Represents one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, What? I hate all of this. Alright, and onward.
The many blue flowers look fantastic on the Lucifer blue horse statue.
Because he wrote it.
Death.
And he kills people.
He has murdered before. A taste for blood. And now, if you're flying in and you don't get to see Blucifer, you will still get a very interesting view, as some of the runways at Denver Airport form a very infamous and very icky hate symbol.
Really?
Yeah. They claim it's for, like, the safety of the airplanes. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it.
Yeah, nothing
Nothing
else
to
they
say
could
here.
have done that
Icky.
would have...
Hate symbol. Icky. When
Alright. Hate symbol. Icky.
The disease he killed. Yes, he killed the one he was infected with.
Blood. And now, when you come back...
If you don't see Blucifer, you will still see a very interesting character, like some other.
Denver Airport is a very busy and dangerous place.
The real proof is yes. They say it is a security feature of the airport.
I don't say much about it. Yes. Otherwise, there is nothing that indicates hatred. Alright. And on we go.
when you get there, if you have to go to luggage claim, if you flew in, there are gargoyles that live in the baggage claim that were made by artists. One of the gargoyles looks like a devil jumping out of a suitcase. Now, gargoyles are supposed to be like a symbol of luck. So it's like wishing luck and safety over the passengers.
Sure. There are lots of other good luck symbols.
Really? Yeah. Like, you know, 4-leaf clovers.
Yeah.
Or the Lucky Charms leprechaun.
Gargoyles, but I'm not sure I want them going through my luggage.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very questionable. Mm-hmm. All of the art.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say that because some of the art is fine. But we're not going to talk about any of that.
Because this isn't about that.
So.
I'm so confused.
Yep.
There's nothing that indicates hatred.
You get there when you have to get your luggage when you get there.
Inside the trunk sits a gargoyle created by artists.
Yes, one of the gargoyles that jumped out of the basket looked like a demon. Today people call these gargoyles gargoyles.
That doesn't make any sense.
It didn't really fit with anything on there.
Symbol of luck. Wish for happiness and safety all over the world.
Passenger. Of course there are many other lucky signs. In fact, yes, like.
You know, the 4-leaf clover, yes. Or the dance. But I'm
not sure if I want them to pick up my luggage for me. So yeah, it's a bit confusing.
All art is a little bit no. I don't mean because some are.
The art is good, but we don't talk about it because that's not what it's about.
What is even happening here? I think this will have to be our last bit.
This next part, it's a very big part of this whole story.
This just keeps getting more astounding.
It's wild. So, there are 4 murals at the airport. They are something. The artist that did them said that they were meant to represent like peace and prosperity and goodwill, and the artists that they hired to do artwork for the Denver International Airport had some. They were some. The first of these murals that I'm going to talk about is very strange. It depicts children of different ethnicities from all over the world. They seem to be very upset and crying and running from a burning forest with what appears to be dead animals, some of them in like glass cases. They look like museum cases to me. On the bottom of the painting are 3 children, one each in their own coffin.
Okay, that's a horrible place to stop.
Right?
And yet, here we are. Okay, yes. So the next part is big.
What is very surprising about this whole story is that
Wild. So there are 4 pictures on it.
airplane, you are one of them, you artist.
Are they supposed to stand for peace, prosperity, and goodwill?
And the artists they commissioned to create artwork for the World Congress in Denver.
Many of them are located at international airports.
Some of the photos I'm going to talk about are really strange.
Shows children from different nations of the world.
For the world, they are very sad, crying and running away from the fire.
The forests seem to be full of dead animals, some of them trapped in glass cases.
To me, they look like museum boxes, the 3 below in the picture.
Every child lies in his own coffin. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. So, obviously, I mean, this episode...
This could go forever.
This episode still has an hour to go.
Really?
I remember having a lot to say about the Denver International Airport.
Oh my goodness.
Ryan did, I think, completely do the whole script.
It
So
looks like it.
we'll have to make a note. If you enjoyed that, we can go back and
We will
do more. We are both, I don't know about you, my nose is just running all over the place. I don't have any tissue. I keep
so gross.
wiping my hand and
We're,
or, wiping my nose
Crying
with my hand.
and snorting and snotting all over.
Totally disgusting. So
this was Dungeons and Dopamine Podcast.
you can listen to us anywhere you stream podcasts and or on YouTube.
You can also support us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/dungeonsdopamine.
You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Insta, and Reddit. You will absolutely also find me on TikTok pretty much all the time. So I'm there with you guys.
But not Brie.
No, sorry. It's always me that you're talking to.
Brie is always lurking on Reddit, though. You can also reach out to us on any of those social medias or at dungeonsdopamine@yahoo.com.
Dungeons and Dopamine is edited and published by Argyle Pigeon Productions. And that's all.
That's it.
We love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.